Hi everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful semester here at Chaminade University. You are in Positive Psychology, one of the best courses this education institution offers. Obviously, this is one of my favorite courses, and if you can't tell, I'm really excited to be here and to be on this learning journey with you. We are going to go over just a few short things. This is not going to be an in-depth lecture about positive psychology, but since we're taking week one to really kind of acclimate to the course room and just to get our feet wet and for everybody to get their books, because I know there's always a few stragglers out there or people that don't get their books on time. So we're not actually even going to start to use the book until next week. So let's talk a little bit about what we are going to discuss in this introduction. First off, again, I'd like to welcome everyone. I'm very, very glad you're here. Again, this is a wonderful course, and I think it's going to benefit you not only personally, but down the road in your careers and in many other aspects too. So today we're going to look at who I am as your tour guide or as your fellow learner. We're going to look at the course room a little bit, the expectations that you should have of me and that I will have of you. And we're going to touch on the topic of positive psychology. If you look down in the lower left-hand corner, there's a picture of the book that we are going to be using. This is a very easy read. It has objectives at the beginning of every chapter, which is really nice because we're going to use those objectives as our focus point. And so really there's not going to be a lot of extraneous material out there. Everything that we're going to talk about each week is going to focus on those. I'm going to try to alleviate a little bit of the stress today about looking at the course room and thinking that there's a lot of information or a lot of material. There's really not. Everything is compounded so that our learning objectives are highlighted each week, and that everything that we do is really focused around those. So if you haven't got your book yet, this is the book that we're going to be using. All right, let's go on and talk a little bit about who I am as an educator and a person and what my expectations are. So my name is Lynn Suits, and right now I am in the very end stages of my doctoral in education psychology. So I am a PhD with a little C at the end, PhD candidate. However, in the course room, I look at the learning experience as a journey of all of us. I learn, you learn, we all learn together. And so I don't really tag with anything that you have to call me professor or you have to call me doctor or any of that sort of thing. Whatever you prefer to call me is fine with me. Lynn, Miss Suits, Professor Suits, Instructor Suits, any of that is fine. As you can see, the picture on the left, that is a picture of me and my son. My kids are very important to me, but many of you have seen this picture over and over again, and simply because I'm too lazy to take an updated picture. The middle picture is the idea that I am a learner just like all of you, and as you can see, I am constantly with books and papers and everything all over my desk. I love learning, and it is a wonderful experience to be able to learn with you all every semester. And if you look over to your right, I put this picture over there not for the before and after picture of me, but because I got my education a lot of the same way that you all are getting your education. I was in the military for 20 years as an enlisted troop, and I studied by flashlight sometimes. I would be out in the field trying to complete a course or calling a teacher and telling them that I was leaving for a deployment and begging them to please accept my work a little bit later. So I am very flexible and I'm very understanding of life situations. And the biggest thing that I ask is that you communicate with me. If there's something going on, please email me. And we're going to look in the course room about how many different ways there are to actually contact me. Let's see, my master's is in counseling, so it's real nice in the psychology because I can combine the two of education psychology and counseling. So I think that gives me a really broad perspective that when I do teach, that I have a lot to talk about, and many of you who have listened to my tutorials know that I have a lot to talk about. So I hope that I'm not long-winded. I'm just very passionate about teaching and about getting information to all of you who are going to become experts in your field. All right, let's talk a little bit about the course room. When you open the course room, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. This is a new, really kind of neat social media feature where we can actually plug in our icons. And if you all don't want to plug in an icon, that's fine. If you want to plug in your picture, that's great too. It just kind of lets us all see who's who. And you can even plug in an icon of something that's meaningful to you. It doesn't have to be your real picture if you don't like to do that. I want to point out a few things here on this page. Let me get my little pointer here. First off, if you open to the course homepage, you are going to see that there are going to be announcements. This is real nice because if there's something coming up that I think that you all should know about, please check that homepage for announcements every week. And it also lets you know what's coming up week to week too. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the different features on this webpage. First off, you're going to see Gradebook, and Gradebook is for you, so you can check every week to see where you're at. I grade very quickly, so every week you should know exactly where you stand. That's one thing that I think is my responsibility as an educator, and an expectation that you should have of me is that I do update the gradebooks weekly and that you do have a visual on exactly where you're at in the course. Okay, the second one is communication. We'll talk about email and then the alternate ways to communicate with me. If you want to email me on my Chaminade account, that's fine, but I guarantee you the response will be very slow. I do check it maybe once or twice a week. But that's not really at the front of my mind when I'm teaching courses because I'm more in the course room. So please email me in the course room. The alternatives to emailing me in the course room are, if you look over to the left column, I have an office door. Whoops, let me put that there so you can see. I have an office door, and the office door is a place that is a streaming a threaded discussion where you can put a question there or something that you might think that others might want to know about too. This is public, so if it is a private conversation, then please email me on the regular course room email. Okay, let's look at the, there is another way too that that you all can get in contact with me. And at the end of each week, you will see at the lower part right here where it says week 1, hey teach. So if there's something about week 1, or there's a link down, or something's going on with a web page, or video's not working, and you want to get a hold of me very quickly, just write in the week 1 or 2 or 3, et cetera, your concern or your input, and I will attend to that very, very quickly, probably within 6 to 8 hours. So that's another good way to get a hold of me. Okay, let's go on and look at a few other features that we have on this page. And let's see. Here we go. So we're not going to be doing any lives this time. What I do is I record just like this, since we're all over the world, and it's just easier for people to get to these type of recordings whenever they want to. So we won't be doing any live, but we will. You will have presentations every week, hopefully. The next thing I'd like you to look at is the doc sharing. This is a nice feature because if a link is down to, say, a document or an exercise, in the doc sharing, it goes week by week, and I do post all of the documents and presentations. Well, not the presentations, I'm sorry. You can find those under the live stream right here. Some people can get to the live streams, and those will be identified every week. But Other people cannot if they're using a map that doesn't seem to be an option for them. So this is why I do this type of presentation, and what I do is I convert them into a YouTube, and then I upload it right into the course room. And it seems to work very well for everybody. Okay, so we talked about the doc sharing. Let's go on and look at the Dropbox. These Dropboxes, you do have a Dropbox bonus, say that 5 times fast. And what that is I just want to make sure that everybody knows how to use the Dropbox. So that's a bonus for the first week, and the Dropbox is for you to submit all of your assignments. And when you open that, you'll see it goes by week 1 assignments, week 2 assignments. And so use those Dropboxes. If something happens to your link and you need to send something to me via mail or via email, that's perfectly fine. I understand that it happens. If your Dropbox isn't working, then 99% of the time there's a link that is something wrong with your computer, and please call the help desk. If you do find a link down to any other areas in the course room, generally that is within the course room. Just contact me and I will make sure that that link is up and running, or I'll call the help desk and I will get it going again. Okay, the other features on here are the journal, the webliography, and the tech support. Those are all for you. The webliography, since we're not doing a lot of research in this course, we probably won't use, and I don't have an assignment for that. The journal is really just for you to use. It can be just to write notes for week to week, or if you want to remind yourself of something, you can put it in there. That is private. Only you can see that if you select that. Or if you want to share something with me, I will check the journals every once in a while. If you want to post a note there, that's fine. Okay, look to the left-hand side. We're going to go over to the left-hand side. And I'm going to talk a little bit about these more in depth. So let's get to the next slide here. And so if you look on the side, you will see syllabus. Let me get my correct pointer here. I am getting used to all of these fancy new gadgets. So you will see syllabus on this side right here. And when you open it up, you are going to see a schedule. But you will also see a link. And this is the full version of the syllabus. So you do have the option of looking at the full syllabus. The reason that I only put the schedule up because that seems to be most important to students, and it's very confusing to have to scroll all the way to the bottom just to see what we're doing for that week. So this is really just kind of a quick peek, but you do have access to the full version. The next thing is to look at going over our weekly schedule, and if you will see week 1 right here, and then you will see a list of all the different things that we are going to be engaged in even during week 1. This is exactly what it'll look like for all weeks. So you will have a nice list of everything. There are 2 ways in which you can access the different items that we will be going over in the week. Again, you will see that this is all open. We're going down to the lower slide. I'm sorry, I did transition, didn't even tell you. Okay, so when you open up, the most important thing is going to be that week 1 start. So this is what it's going to look like when you open that page. It is going to tell you your to-do list of everything you need to do. And it will also give you the due date. The other thing is there will be a link. So you will be able to go directly to the items that you need to complete. It also tells you the extra credit you have, and then it also gives you other important links that you might need too. So you have 2 methods. One, if you open up the week 1, I give you the quick synopsis of what we're going to be going over for the week, and then you have your to-do list. So you can either access in perspective right from here, which will take you right up to here. It'll link you right to the in perspective exercise. Or if you don't want to complete them all at one time and you want to just open the page and you just say, you know what, I think I want to do the inventory today, you can open that up and you can access that directly. So you have two methods of accessing the weekly exercises. Okay, let's look at the next one. So when you do open these web pages, it's not just something that just says go and do this. You will have a little synopsis about what the assignment is going to be, and then you will also have links to the exercise. These will be Word documents that you can download, or you can download and write right on the document, save it, and send it to me as an attachment in the Dropbox. Or if you just want to go right to the Dropbox and type right into the text dialog box, that's fine too. All I'm asking for is the answers. I know these assignments like the back of my hand, so I don't need the stories and that sort of thing. Again, yes, of course, if it's an attachment, that's fine. But if you prefer not to do that and just send the answers, then that's fine too. Then when we looked at the In Perspective and the surveys, we are going to be using the Authentic Happiness website. We will use this website for every single one of the surveys that we're going to be taking, and we're flip-flopping. There will be a perspective one week, a survey the next week, a perspective one week, a survey the next week. So with the Authentic Happiness website, the very first thing that you will need to do is you will need to create a password and a username, and the username is I think directed as your email. So please remember that username and password, and then you will come to, after you have done your username and password, you go right to the test site, or the, I think it says test center. I'm sorry, that's not big enough for me to read. And you complete whichever survey it is that is indicated for that week. Afterwards, when you save it, you will be able to review it at any time because it's actually saved on your page. Now, I know a lot of people, they try to print these tests out for me, and I've got these all sorts of paperwork all over the place, and then they don't save correctly. If you want to do a page snapshot, or you want to take your iPhone and take a snapshot of completing the survey, that's fine with me. All I need to know is that you completed that. So you can even do a real quick little cut and paste of showing that there are test results there, that you completed that. You can send it to me any way that you want, as a picture, as a Word document, a PDF, you know, whatever, just a little snapshot of the completed survey, of just the scores. You don't have to send me the entire survey. Let's see, going on to the next slide. Okay, the other thing, which is really going to be the major part of our education, is going to be our group discussions, or what I have deemed as the think tank. These think tanks come up with some of the most amazing discussions from you all, from the students. And I get to chime in at the end and talk about, you know, maybe adding a little bit more information to what you already have added. A lot of times you all are discussing things, and there's not a lot much that I can add because you guys really talk about these things so nicely and so very in-depth. You will notice down here that I do have expectations. So there will be videos on each page, or there might be a story. And then that's what we will talk about. The videos will be corresponding to the objectives that we're going to be talking about each week. And you also will notice that there's going to be a rubric which talks about when these discussions are due. It is going to be an initial discussion where you post a reflection on, you will select the topic that you want. There will always be a selection of 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 or 7 topics, and you pick what you want to talk about. Your initial discussion post should be anywhere from 1 to 2 paragraphs in length. Sometimes people like to go over that, and that's fine with me, but just make sure that what you have reflects on the topics and reflects a little bit about what we have learned in the book. So really what we're looking for is something in depth. The 2 responses to your fellow learners, those are due by the end of the week. And I really hope that everybody posts early on in the week rather than late, because by that end of that last day, people are looking for the next week's discussion, and everything is just kind of dwindled out. The topics usually are very interesting and very thought-provoking, and these discussion boards are usually very, very busy. And I really like this aspect of learning because it just gives us a chance to learn from everybody. This is not something that can be done in a brick and mortar school, which is one reason why I really love online courses, because you will get insight into all of your fellow learners' thoughts and viewpoints. So this brings me to my next slide, which is expectations. So the expectations are that we are here to learn, and we are scholars now. Which means that we all are going to have different points of view, and we need to respect one another for those points of view. You might post an opposing view to somebody, but things like your opinion is really stupid, you're an idiot, that's dumb, really are not scholarly, is not scholarly behaviors in a course room. So what I ask is that you understand that you have a viewpoint and the other person has a viewpoint, and the more we learn and the more diverse viewpoints that we learn, the better off we are, because that's just adding to our expanded knowledge. So please be respectful of one another. What you can expect from me is that I am very respectful towards my students. I think you all are wonderful. I think you are here to meet your goals. I'm here to help you meet your education goals, and I will stand side by side with you. I will not demean you in any way in the classroom. If there's something I need to talk to you about in private, you can expect an email. I will be as respectful to you as I expect you to be as respectful to your fellow learners. So those are my expectations in the course room. I expect me to come to class prepared and to deliver a good presentation, and I expect you to do the reading and to come to class prepared and to have input into this course that is meaningful not only to yourself but to your fellow learners as well. All right, so we are on to our next slide, and I'm going to talk a little bit about positive psychology. I had to write this all down because I was afraid that I would forget it, so I'm sorry if this sounds canned. It is from me, but it is about positive psychology and a little bit about why I started teaching positive psychology. I actually started teaching positive psychology after I had taught so many abnormal psychology courses. I don't know if any of you have taken that course yet, but if you look at a lot of the books, if you go to the library and you look under abnormal psychology, even the books themselves will have a really odd or obscure or dark picture on them, and really that was starting to be my view of psychology and counseling, was that everything was strange or odd or bad or about just about what people couldn't do. And so, you know, I started looking and thinking that there just had to be a better way. So let me talk about what's positive psychology all about. So I'm sure you all have many preconceived notions about positive psychology. I will tell you what I have experienced down the road. When I tell people about positive psychology, they ask, isn't that touchy-feely stuff? That stuff doesn't work. It's just self-help. Well, if you try to be happy all the time, you're just hovering up, and that isn't good. Other things that I've heard is, I don't want to be happy all the time. But if we don't teach discipline, then our kids will just go crazy. So I am who I am, and no one should try to change me. So those are a few perspectives that I have gathered along the years. So yes, there are many myths about what positive psychology is all about. What I will tell you is that it's no secret, and it's not a self-help focus, and it does not come in the form of 10 simple lessons. Many of the topics we are going to cover you probably already know something about. However, positive psychology will address many of the topics from a very different perspective. Perspectives that the psychology field has not focused on until now. And yes, it is important for us to study wellness programs and to look at abnormal psychology, but we need a balance. So you'll have many questions during the semester. Is it good to be happy all the time? That's a good question. Is this just another buzzword? Does this negate drug treatment? Is there a downside to it? Do you have to be religious? Is it going to change me? Is it going to take a lot of work? Is there data to back up all of these theories? What's in it for me? I will ask you to be patient as all of these questions will be covered in due time. You will be learning a lot of theories and scope of positive psychology in the beginning. Then all of a sudden, whoosh, I promise you, it will come in and hit you, and it will all start coming together. I get asked many times about just what positive psychology is all about. Then I describe it and I tell people this. It's about building on human strength rather than solely trying to overcome weaknesses. It's about how we build resilience in children to create a better future when their present isn't so good. It's about being mindful of who we are and how we influence our environment. It's about taking control of our own happiness, which might mean letting go of that control. It's about finding out why we have the perspective of life that we do. And it's about finding out what truly makes us happy. It's about realizing that life is not always good, but sometimes we can find benefit even through difficult times and times of hardship. It is about giving people the ability to live their life to their full potential. And that means every person out there, not just those that are deemed that can be happy through money or through status. So this class is taught on a two-dimensional learning methodology. First, you will learn through education, stats, experts, programs, looking at different theories in our textbook, etc. The second dimension is through your own personal growth. And a lot of the assignments that we are going to look at, the in perspective, really start to develop your perspective from your own views. So this is a really fabulous course because not only is it going to start you understanding the different theories of positive psychology, but it's going to kind of grow a very personal outcome for you to understand these different theories and how you can use them in everyday life. So I will be here to hopefully make this fun and invigorating. Learning is a great thing and should be fun, so get ready to have a lot of fun. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this slide presentation, and I look forward to discussing all of these topics with you in the think tank. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me.